Hi everyone, welcome to our Thursday edition. A very special and awesome one. We are going to talk adoption tonight. I know it's a very popular topic when it comes to infertility, and you're going to just love Ashlee. She's such a sweet soul, and just it's been excellent getting to know her under these circumstances. But she is going to talk about adoption tonight. I just want to say about last night, I did speak with Senator Grabinger, and we're going to do a live, or just talk, and I'll record it or have him on the phone sometime after legislation's over, which hopefully will be soon. So he apologized and felt horrible for missing, but that is a whole busy world that they have going on over there right now, so we'll let him tend to that. Also, just a reminder to enter our contest. We have it pinned at the top of our page, and then you get a bonus entry for every if you share our videos as well. And I just got confirmation, like I said last night, I officially got confirmation we'll advertise. We're going to have an infertility nurse on Saturday afternoon join us, and then we'll have Dr. Kane, a reproductive endocrinologist, that evening at 7. So I am excited for that. See Ashlee on yet? Let me just check and see if she messaged me. And if you have any questions, especially in this topic, I actually gathered some questions from a friend who I know is going through this beforehand, so I can make sure I don't miss anything. It's not something that we looked into personally, but yet something I'm very interested in and just learning more about it in general. So I am excited to hear from her. Should be joining us soon. Oh, also, if you missed yesterday, KFYR aired a special on infertility in our bill, and then tonight they interviewed Patty Teagle, and they're going to have more on Infertility Awareness Week. So make sure, I think it's at 10 o'clock, and they usually post them online, so I'll make sure to share them, of course, afterwards, too. Let's see here. She is coming. We've had a lot of and make sure to check our notes section. I have it saved on the side. I'm sharing a bunch of stories every day, and I'm probably end up sharing 2 a day sometime. We've had so many people come forward to share their stories, from couples who still have not had a child to egg donor. I'll share Ashlee's in the adoption. So, yeah, make sure to check that. And they usually, I think they are showing in the timeline as they are posted, but they are all going to be saved there. So if you happen to not see it or want to just check them out anytime, they'll be saved there. Or if you still haven't shared yours and you're thinking of sharing, I'd love to have them. I will post it in that notes section and share. Even after this week, I'm going to continue with sharing stories from people. I'm been asked to possibly do some more of these Facebook Lives, maybe once a month or something like that. But if there's anything else you can think of that you'd like to see too, just let us know. We are going to officially do our awareness walk. There she is. August 18th at the Capitol, and we would love some help with that. So just message me and let me know. We'd love to have some help with that too.
Hello. Hello.
Hey.
Hi. Can you hear me okay?
It must be working because I don't hear an echo.
Good.
Yes.
Good. That's awesome.
Welcome, Ashlee. I was talking about you earlier.
Good deal.
So we'll just roll right in with you.
Sounds good.
So let's just start with like when you first were diagnosed or when you were like, I might have trouble starting a family someday. What did that look like and what happened with that?
Sure. So in 2016 was when I had a ruptured ovarian cyst. And that was kind of the first time where we realized that something might not really be right here. And it actually took a whole year and like 6 months before I was actually fully diagnosed. I had a couple doctors tell me there was nothing wrong. Um, yeah, and so it was just a long, long process before I was finally diagnosed. And then it was my mom actually that told me to go see a different doctor in Bismarck. And it was that doctor that took a look at my charts and just said, I really think you have endometriosis. And you can't detect endometriosis without doing a surgery. But from my labs and everything that I had done, she had realized that, yes, it was probably endometriosis. And then a couple days later, I went in for the surgery and she found it was stage 4 and it was like one of the worst that she had seen. So yeah, it was kind of scary. So yeah, from there, it was kind of just like, let's see if you can get pregnant on your own now. And if not, move from there, I guess. So yeah.
Were you married at that time or no?
Yes, we got married in June 2014. And it was that year we were like, okay, we can, start a family and start trying here. And then that spring I had that ruptured cyst and it changed everything. So
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned, I think on your blog I saw, like, you were open to adoption from the get-go. Like, this was something you had talked about.
Yes, we had, even before, we were married, we had talked about doing adoption just someday, even looking into foster care or something like that. I have a couple cousins that are adopted and on my mom's side and then on my dad's side as well. So yeah, it was just something that we had felt God kind of putting on our hearts and we were really looking forward to that. We did want to have children of our own, obviously, as well, right, too, but we knew that we could take any child and love that child too. So
wonderful. And I also, one thing I just love, and we'll link her page in the comment section, is just how you bring your faith into it and how you're just so positive. Like, we all know we've all been down in the dumps, but you just, you have your moments and you use your faith and pick yourself back up. And I just thought that was, absolutely inspiring to read too. Fell in love with your story.
Yes.
I knew your sister and high school there, but I was like, ooh, like that's and I'm like, oh, I have to follow her and read more about this and follow your so you got married and then you got diagnosed and wasn't working. So when you got the endometriosis diagnosis, that rhymed. Did you go on to do any treatment of any sort, or like, nope, this is how we know we're going to start adoption?
Yeah, it was kind of that same week I was having my surgery. My husband's like, I'm going to fill out this paperwork and we're just going to do this. So he filled it out and we sent it in and it was kind of like full speed ahead from there. Let's do this. Let's adopt. Yeah.
So, so this is where I need your expertise. So how did you decide where to begin your adoption process?
Sure. So when we first looked into it, we tried looking at different agencies. And we actually wanted to go through North Dakota, but we live in Moorhead, which is Minnesota. So we tried to find a Catholic Charities in Minnesota and they don't really have anything really. It's more Lutheran Social Services is their like Catholic Charities, I guess, that North Dakota has. Okay. And from there we just kind of were like, let's pick them, I guess. So most people either look to an agency and you can do public or private. A private agency is just a little more expensive than a public would be. And I guess that could vary too, depending on the case, but.
Is that kind of the main difference is price when it comes to private or public?
Yes, I would say. And private will place much quicker. With our agency, we were on like 3 or 4 different wait lists and we're still on a wait list now. They kind of really streamline how they set it up. And that's because they have so many families coming in and they don't want a lot of families in their program at a time because then you're just a number. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of waiting with our agency and we didn't really know that going in. And I think we might do it different if we were to adopt again, but it's been a great experience. They're excellent to work with too. So.
Okay. So is yours open or closed? adoption?
We want to do open.
Open. Okay.
Yes, they very highly recommend open adoption. It's just better for the child, for the parents, everyone involved, that open is really the way to go. So
okay.
Yeah.
Why is that? Just to have that child have a relationship with family?
Yeah.
Is that
Well, when we went to the classes in 2017 down in the cities for 2 days. It was like a 2-day training that they had us do. And just the psychology of what the child is going through is so much better if it's open, because they have so many questions. And you think you adopt an infant, they're going to be like, oh, you're my parents.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just don't. What they have found with research is that children want to know where they're from. They want to know why they were given up, you know, where their circumstances come from.
Got goosebumps.
Yeah, I know.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's go to the class. So you took a class. I'm assuming that's mandatory, right? Or
Yes. So when we applied, we were put on a wait list. And from that wait list, we did some online classes, just some general basic info classes on adoption. And then before you can be put into their next, I guess, another wait list off that first wait list, you have to take this class down in the cities, and they offer it a couple times a year. So we took that class, and then from there, we were still on the wait list, but after that, I think it was like maybe March. So that was February, March or April, we were able to start the home study process, which took probably 6 to 8 months to get that done. So yeah.
And what's involved in that? Like, I don't know, I guess I'm like, why is it gotta take 6 to 8 months? Let's get this over.
I know. Let's get this going.
There's clearly a reason, but do you know what that is?
So you have a lot of background studies to do. They have, you know, state background studies that you have to go through, and depending on how long you've lived in that state, you might have to do another state. So we have to run ours through North Dakota and Minnesota.
Okay.
So that took a long time. And then just the paperwork is, I mean, everything from like, where were you born, to what do you do now with your job? I mean, and you have to like go through your whole life kind of explaining this in paperwork, answering questions just about openness, about adopting another race or another nationality. And yeah, just a lot of paperwork that you have to kind of do on your own. And yeah, a lot of soul searching, I guess.
I was gonna say, I'm assuming that's stressful. That's not like just,
oh my gosh,
why don't you just adopt, like easy peasy? Like, it seems to be a stressful process too, and costly, I would assume.
Yes. So our agency kind of has it set up in spurts. So you pay for like your initial or application fee, and it was pretty cheap. And then from there, you pay for your classes, and then I think we had another payment before we started our home study.
Okay.
And then once you're done with your home study, you have to pay some more money. And then from there, it's kind of hit or miss until the placement actually takes place with the baby. So
okay.
Yeah.
So it's not one big lump sum at one time.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
And so overall, I was at where you're at to this point, like, what are some of the positives that you've experienced? Something you had really, you would do something different again? What are some of those moments that you've encountered too? I would probably do this next time, or do this different.
Right. I would say the education was huge for us. I mean, we went to the cities for that first initial session, and we're like, we're going to adopt a baby.
Yeah.
And that's going to be that.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So just the education piece of what it takes to adopt a child and to raise that child, and kind of walking through like, what's that child going to go through when they're 15, 16 years old, asking you questions, you know, where are my parents from? Why was I given up? Kind of having to answer some of those questions. And I just think it was really, really, really positive. Just to have that background knowledge, and kind of doing that soul searching too, because you do have to answer so many questions, and you have to like write down your responses on a sheet of paper, and it just takes a lot to process.
And stuff, you got like, not just
one type it, I guess, but no, it is like big long paragraphs. Yep. Yeah.
No.
Nope.
Oh.
It's a lot.
Wow. Yeah. That's good to know. I never even thought, how do you answer those questions? Some training and guidance on that would be extremely helpful, I think.
Yes.
So any big negative things that you've run into with it? I mean, other than waiting, I mean, that's
Yeah.
fun, but God's time, I know you're very strong in that.
Yeah, I think, oops, lost my headpiece here. I think that we actually, well, maybe this last summer, we had learned about consulting firms. And what a consulting firm does is they have contacts with agencies in all 50 states. And so if you work with a consulting firm, your adoption can go a lot quicker because you can present, as soon as your home study approved, you can be presented to those cases as whenever you want to be. So that's one thing we're kind of doing on the side. We asked our agency if it would be okay, but basically we get emailed cases to us of potential adoption situations, and then we can choose if we want to present or not. And then you have to pay, obviously, that agency fee or the lawyer or attorney or, whatever you have to pay on your own then. And I think if we were ever to do it again, we would just do a home study through the state and then just go straight to a consulting firm, pay their fee. It's pretty minimal. The one we're with right now is $2,000 a year. So it's, pretty minimal. And we get emailed, I would say, at least every 2 or 3 days with cases that we can present to.
Is that state or is that the whole U.S.?
That's the whole U.S.
Okay.
The place we're working with now, they are mostly Texas, Florida. A couple of times we'll get other states, but they work a lot in Texas and a lot in Florida. But they can work with any agency in any state as long as they have contact with that agency.
Okay. Now, how did you find them or know about them?
I don't even know. I think Facebook or Instagram. Yeah. Yes, one of those online places. Yeah. And there's a couple different ones that we looked into. And this one, it's a kind of a mom and pop. It's a husband and wife, and they want to grow families. And so they've kind of grown since we started with them I believe it was just this last summer. But yeah, they've kind of grown, and they are just awesome people. They have a real heart for the Lord and just for adoption, and they want to see, they're not in it for the money. Right. They want to see that you are adopting and that you're starting a family. So they're really great.
So did you have to fill out some paperwork of how do they know what to look for you, or as they get a case, everybody gets it and it's shared amongst their clients? Is that how that kind of works?
Yeah, so they just email it out to us. Like we got one tonight, and it tells you what state it's in, what the due date is, what the mom wants, or the parent, birth parents, what they want to see with the adoption. And then they just say, you have 24 hours or 10 hours or whatever their deadline is to send in a letter. It's usually a handwritten letter that you scan, write to the mom, and then they show your profile book too.
Oh, okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Is that a digital profile book, or is that binder?
No, the one we did for the consulting firm, we did through Mixbooks, which if anyone's looking to do their own profile book, that's another fee that there's companies out there that do profile books, but they're super expensive, and I would just recommend doing it yourself, because with like a Mixbooks or a Shutterfly, you have it all right there for you, I guess. Nice. You just kind of have to put your pictures in, and there's so many samples online. I kind of just followed a sample that we both liked and put our own pictures and our own words into it. And so then Mixbooks will actually, the company, if you tell them it's for adoption, they'll send it to you for free.
Wow.
So that's really cool. Yeah.
So how does this agency find families that are wanting to adopt?
Like our agency or the consulting firm, or both?
Consultant firm.
Yes. They just work with, they have certain agencies that they work with and they have a relationship with. And a lot of times agencies, I think especially in bigger states, or more populated states, I should say, they don't, which sounds odd, but they don't always have families to show. Like they don't have families to show this birth mom. So they'll say, or not birth mom, I should use the right language, expectant mom. They'll show the expectant mom and say, I have, we work with this consulting firm. I have this amount of families. Can we show your profile, or can we show this case to them? And then I'm sure from there, the mom kind of decides what they want, I guess.
Wonderful. Well, that's very interesting. See?
I know.
I know there's
so much that you never know.
So how do you pick, or what made you pick, like, oh, what's the term she used here? Interstate versus international adoption.
Sure. I just didn't want to deal with the red tape of international.
Mm-hmm.
We had looked into it, but it's way more expensive, and there's a lot more that goes into it, even more so than, I don't know that much about international, but we kind of just wanted it to be in the United States.
Yeah.
Traveling to, having to pay for expenses and stuff too is tough.
Right.
But
I was told today by someone, if you do international, a lot of times you end up having to go over there multiple times to whatever country you're adopting from. So that could get itself, I suppose, with the travel.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So, where are you at now in the process? I believe you're number 8 on a wait list. Is that
no? I think we're 5 or 6 right now. So
I missed.
Yeah, I know. Hey. I don't think I updated this last one.
Steve, you gotta update this.
I know, right? Yeah, so we haven't updated it, but yeah, I can't remember. I think it's 5 or 6, but yeah. So
that's your local agency then, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So we're on their wait list to be put in their book. And their book is like, it's not really a book, but that's what they call it. So basically we'll be put into like a binder with other families. And then once we're off this wait list, we can be put in that folder or that book and then be shown to families. So we're not being shown to families at all right now, except for through the consulting firm. So.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what that wait list is about.
Yeah. How long have you been on the list?
I would say like September, October of 2018. So it's been a long time.
That's why people should look into getting a consulting agency or firm or whatever, kind of while you're doing this together, then almost as one.
Right. And as soon as your home study approved, you could present to a consulting firm. So
key is get your home study done.
Yes.
And you could file to have that home study done just through the state without even going to an agency, or no?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's different for each state, but I do know that like states will provide home studies, or you can go to like a company that does a home study for you, and then it's verified like through the state.
Wonderful.
So that you know that it's legit, I guess.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so people should be focusing on that home study. How long from when you did your paperwork to when your home study got done? What was that time frame?
So I have some notes here because there's so many.
Yeah, I feel like I'm jumping. Read from your notes. Yeah. So you'll be in a better timeline than I
am. So 2017 of July was when we sent our first paperwork in, and we didn't get home study approved till like August 2018.
Oh.
And then so it was a year.
Oh.
And the home study process took us like 6 months, I think, because maybe even longer. Yeah, 6 or 8 months. Just to do the paperwork, have all of our home study meetings with our social worker, go through all the evaluations that they make you go through, and
Okay.
So,
that's a wait.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a long time, and now you're still waiting to even just be put in a book.
To be shown.
Give you an estimate, like, okay, once we enter you in the book for showings, what is the approximate? How long? I think it's the book.
Right. I think it just depends on what you're open to.
Okay.
So they give you like a checklist, and it's basically like hard drug use or mild or like soft. Okay. And then it'll put it into categories like, are you okay with meth use? Are you okay with smoking or alcohol? Or so you and your spouse kind of have to figure that out.
You want to cry like, how do you even decide? Or like, that's a lot. Like first of all, okay, I know addiction's out there, but I just can't even imagine, like, I don't know. Yeah,
right.
It's a different life that those mothers are in, like how hard it be as a mom, an addicted mom on top of it, to give your child up. That's such a hardship. Ugh.
I know. Yeah, it's a tough, my husband and I have done it a couple times together and separate, just to kind of walk through like what we're okay with. Yeah. And I don't like doing it. It's hard. And then there's also like a willing to consider type category too.
did you agree on those topics together?
Yeah.
Hard
There,
conversation between.
right. Yeah. I mean, I think like the cocaine and the meth, like those are a little bit scarier to kind of be able to
Yep.
accept. But if it's something like marijuana or, you know, cigarettes, I don't know. It's so hard to say, but those are easier to accept than knowing.
Yeah.
I don't know. And when we did our training, they actually brought in a couple who they adopted a little boy with, his mom was doing everything. And her advice, she said, I love my son. I'm so glad we did this, but they're not just boxes on a sheet of paper. You have to know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, the long term.
Yes, like he was 5 years old. I think he's still in diapers because he just doesn't have the
chance. Yeah.
Yeah. So her advice was they're not just boxes. Think about it. Go over it. If you're okay with it, great, but don't just do it just because you want a child. You have to think through
wonderful
that long term.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was excellent.
So how many are in the book at a time? How many? I say you're edition, but what is that?
Yeah, I can't remember if it's like 60 or 40. It's not a lot. They just say that we'd rather you be, you know, a smaller number that we're presenting to so that people have a chance versus a larger number, which I can understand that reasoning. I have had a couple of people reach out to me. They don't agree with how our agency does it. And I think it's just their guidelines of how they have it set up, and that's just how they've chose to do it. And yeah, so
is there a reason, or like what would those that are coming forward to you saying that, like what would be another reasoning for that, just to take on people and give you a chance to go against more type of thing?
Yeah, and I've had people say to me, like, I've never heard adoption taking that long for you to even be presented.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So they don't really understand. And some people, they decide to adopt, and it's like 2 months later they have a baby, you know? And that just hasn't been our experience, which is okay, but it's just kind of the path we took, I guess. And God has a plan, so maybe that's why we're waiting.
And it's a choice between your husband and you, and that's...
Yeah.
I believe he's Jay. He said number 5, so he wrote in the comments number 5.
Awesome. Oh, good. Like, so we know.
You're watching with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. How has it been, like, you know, has it been hard times on your marriage or pretty good? You guys have good communication, or any advice for those going into it, like, make sure you do this or don't do this as a couple when you're going into adoption? Yeah,
I just think that for us, this brought us a lot closer together. I feel like we just have, I don't know, communicate better, and we just spend more time kind of just being together and just understanding that this is where we're at in life. Yeah, there's times of frustration. I mean, a couple Decembers ago, I was just as depressed as could be. No one really knew any of our struggles yet. It was just really, really, really tough. So there are times like that, and then there's the next time where it's like, you know what, this is great, we're thriving from this, and this is where we're supposed to be right now, so let's just take it as it is, I guess.
Right. Would you have that December you'd be here sharing about this?
No.
Isn't it crazy when that, like, switch flips, like how it...
Yes, and I think...
I was quiet. My old clinic manager was or is watching. I didn't tell anybody, and I worked in an office with 6 people, and I think my secretary / incredibly good friend is watching. I was like,
just mom.
Like, not talk about it. And then one day it's just like, blah, like,
yes,
you know, like, here's the deal. Here's what's going on. Like, and then it's just, you know, from there.
Yeah, once you decide to tell people, it's just like, whatever.
And I think in your own time, like, I don't want anyone to ever think like they have to say something or come and tell anybody, let alone, but you know, and maybe you'll never, and that's okay too, talk about it, but just to know that they're not alone. And I think especially adoption too, that's a whole nother journey. And so I mean, there's support groups like on Facebook or Instagram or things like that too that you have found or went to.
Yes. You know, the consulting firm we're with, they have their own Facebook page. Yes, they're excellent. Waiting in Hope is another really great ministry.
Wonderful.
Yes, I Am Fruitful. That one's not really adoption, but they're also really great. Moms in the Making, I've talked about them before on my blog. They're really good as well. So yeah, there's so many resources out there. And in my last post, I had written about just telling someone, if you're not comfortable telling a family member, which sometimes can be the hardest thing, tell a friend, or go on Facebook and find a group. There's a lot of secret groups where no one's going to know you're in it.
Exactly.
Yeah, so there's just so much that you can do to get that help. And I wish I would have known that, because I mean, my sisters, I think they suspected that something, you know, was going on, but they didn't know the truth until really kind of I had my surgery. That was the first time that they had known that we had a problem, I guess.
There's a reproductive system problem, right?
Yes.
They're like, what surgery are you having? Gallbladder? I mean, you start lying about things, you know.
Right.
Like, yeah, it becomes this hard thing. I totally agree. I went to Instagram. I don't know. I hardly used Instagram at the time, and now I have like a lot of, you know, friends on there, but I found like 3 girls, and I looked for ones who are going to my clinic. So going to someone that's in your agency is perfect. Like, you kind of know someone to go to then that gets that specific stage or system that you're in too. Then.
Right. And I actually met someone from the Moms in the Making. I had commented that I was from Minnesota, and she had commented that she's from North Dakota, and she reached out to me, and now we have a group that gets together once a month in Fargo.
Is it a mom making group? Or
no, we kind of broke off and did our own thing. We started with 4 or 5 of us, and I think there's like maybe 16, 17 in the group right now.
Hey, do you have like a name or a group page or anything? Or do you have
we do.
You're going to put that at the bottom. What is the name of it?
Okay. Fruitful Miracles, I think, is the name of the page.
That's a Fargo Moorhead area. Is that where?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yep.
We're looking to get a Resolve support group, I hope.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I'm talking with Dr. Kane. They have a specific counselor that they go to, and then I think a friend of mine taking a counselor in Fargo too. So we're trying to see if we can get one going there too, get a chapter started.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Really cool.
So tell us more about your website that you have.
Yeah, so I guess one thing I haven't touched on is our agency really encouraged us to do our own outreach. And so they encouraged us to start a Facebook page, start telling everyone you know. I think I wish I had the statistics written down, but it's a high number of placements that happen from someone who knows someone who knows someone. Yeah. Okay. So that's why we're on Facebook. That's why it kind of blew up, that we kind of just decided to take the leap and
just do it.
Yes. And we've had a lot of great connections from that. We had an expectant mom from Florida, another one in Texas reach out to us. I mean, they didn't work out, but they found our Facebook page.
Wow.
Just through Facebook, they found us and they wanted to know more about us and about adoption. And both those moms decided to keep their babies, which is, I mean, we love that. That's what we hope, is to keep families together. So yeah, there's been a couple scammers too that happens.
Oh, really? Never would have thought of that. I suppose.
Yeah, either emotional or financial. Yeah.
Awful. That's just
it's awful.
Oh. How do you know you can scammer? Like, what's a sign, you know?
Well, the one that messaged us, she said, do you have baby?
Oh, well, that's,
and then,
great. Yeah. There, you're out.
Yeah, right. And then she's like, are you still looking to adopt? And then I said, yes. And then she said, okay. And then I said, are you looking for families? And then she said, maybe. So you can just just get that feeling.
Yeah. Use your intuition, right?
Intuition, I guess.
Prayer and intuition.
Yes. So anyway, that's kind of where our Facebook page came from. I've always loved to write. I'm actually working on an adoption children's book right now that I want to get done this summer if possible.
Yeah.
And then I want to write.
From being
I know.
Writing a book. Oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yes, and that kind of just came from sharing on my blog. Finally, when I came out of my comfort zone and out of my shell and decided to share, it was just full speed ahead, I guess.
What God is doing, and that's so awesome.
Yeah.
And you have a website and a Facebook page, right? They're the
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We get more hits on our Facebook page just because it's right there.
Okay.
Where on the website you have to click on the link and then go and then read. So
okay.
But we have had people. One of my husband's college classmates, they are adopting, and she typed in Minnesota adoption, and our website came up.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's the internet.
Google.
Yes, yeah. If anybody's looking into doing that, I mean, it's just awesome.
It's an extra tool you can use, and Facebook's free, so I mean.
Yeah, I pay like I think $2 a month for our website, so that's super cheap too. And yeah, if you're want to get into it, I think that outreach effort on your own part is huge. Just because we have had such great luck of people finding us or reaching out to us. And it hasn't worked out, but that's life too.
But you never know if the next one will, and it was found,
right.
the same way too. That's excellent. Okay,
yeah.
Now I want to know more about your book. Like, what direction are you going with this? I got to hear this.
Well, my brother's girlfriend messaged me one day, and she needed help with a college assignment. They had to write a children's book, and I was just kind of helping her a little bit. I'm an English teacher, so
perfect.
Yes. So I'm an English teacher, so she had some questions to ask me, and then I'm like, like we can write this into a book,
a creative, an actual project that's going to go further than just homework.
Yes. And so we kind of, both of us together came up with this idea of a star. And so the premise of the book a little bit is basically the child asks the mom, where did I come from? And then the mom says, from the stars and God above. And then it kind of just spins out from there.
Stay tuned. We'll post this out.
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
So
that's wonderful.
Yeah. So that'll be fun. I have it mostly written. I need to find an illustrator. So if anybody knows of any illustrators, I need to do that. But
email her.
Yes, please do. That's my goal this summer, is to get that done. And you can publish on Amazon for free, apparently. So
hey, there you go.
I'm going to learn about that all summer.
Yeah, that's when school's out. That's what you can
Yes, that's the plan. So
is there anything I missed, Ashlee, or anything else you'd like to add?
I don't think so. I think we kind of hit.
Good.
All of it. Don't be afraid to share your story. Don't feel like it's going to be a stigma on you. It's just, this is the way God has made your life. This is your cross to carry, and you can thrive from it. And yeah, it's going to be a long, hard ride, but I don't know. I just encourage people, share your story.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Ashlee. And she'll post her own personal website too. And then your Fargo Moorhead group. I would love for you to post that too, and we can share it with everybody. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out to Ashlee too. Or me, and I can direct them to Ashlee.
Okay. Awesome.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.